eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one.
Ele pensou.
Let me wake up.
Meu Deus, véi. Que porra é essa?
With this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job.
É tudo que eu quero.
Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Meu Deus. Não. Não.
Stanley began screaming. Please,
não.
Someone wake me up.
Não.
My name is Stanley. I have a boss, I have an office. I am real.
Que tá acontecendo? Que tá acontecendo?
I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I?
Meu Deus.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-ripping, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
E aí galera do YouTube, temos aqui com mais um vídeo. Dessa vez galera... Não, pera. Ok. Fala YouTube, temos aqui. Se é mesmo de breco, se inscreve aí. E aí galera, eu tô aqui com mais um vídeo. Hoje eu tô com o vídeo do Stanley. É um jogo chamado Parábola de Stanley. E é o seguinte, eu sei que o canal ficou meio parado por algum tempo. Ficou parado por algum tempo. Foi por alguns motivos, né? Mas eu vou começar a trazer.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ok. Como que é o jogo, galera? O jogo é assim. Obedeça o narrador, senão você morre. É um resumo. Mas o jogo parece estar bem legal, hein? Onde que é a sala de reuniões aqui? Eu já tinha visto, tipo, vídeo dele na Steam, mas nunca cheguei a jogar, sabe? Eu vi uns 5 minutos e tal, mas eu achei interessante. Pra não dar spoiler, mas que eu fiquei sabendo mais ou menos assim, o narrador que conta, você só segue ele. Tem vários sinais alternativos. Meio que isso. Foi eu que fechei. Mas o jogo tá bem legal até. Tipo, bem legal, não tô acontecendo nada.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ele entrou na porta esquerda. E se eu entrar na direita, o que acontece? Agora eu vou obedecer. Prontinho. E agora? Dá pra pulsar em tudo, só os barulhinhos, eu acho. Então é pra cá, né? Sala de reuniões,
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Não havia aí ninguém.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Galera, eu aconselho vocês por no máximo e por na qualidade 620 pra vocês conseguirem ler. Porque esse jogo, ele é só legendado mesmo. É pra ir aqui? Boss Room?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet,
Nossa,
but there
mas
was
não
nothing
vi.
here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Virou e voltou seu caminho. Não, isso não fazer isso. O que acontece? Eu tô funcionando em tudo.
There was nothing here.
Mas não vi
No
ninguém.
choice to
Nenhuma
make,
escolha fazer.
no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
Ó, você...
No reason to still be here.
Vocês leem aí, eu não vou ficar lendo, não, senão atrapalha o áudio. Não, não! Ah, tá. Tá. Oh, fuck.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ele subiu. Não, não vou subir não. Vou continuar descendo, só porque ele mandou. Oh, shit. O que é esse aqui?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
O quê?
And for that matter, these rooms were
Como
starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself.
No.
This is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue.
No.
He just hadn't found the words
Meu
for
Deus.
it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream.
Deus.
Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone.
Ele tá mexendo
He
comigo.
wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So,
Ele tá
he
mexendo
imagined
comigo.
himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Flutuar? Eu tô flutuando!
He imagined himself
Que tá acontecendo?
soaring through space on a magical star field.
Meu Deus.
And it too appeared.
Meu Deus.
It was so much fun. And Stanley marveled that he had
Meu
still
Deus.
not woken up.
Achei que era um jogo simples, não terror.
Lucid. And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered.
Galera, não tem o que eu falar, velho.
One he was
O que tá
amazed he
acontecendo?
hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Meu Deus, esse jogo mexe comigo,
Now the
velho. Sai
voice was
fora.
describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice
Meu Deus, mano.
describing me, thinking about
Que
how it's
isso?
describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of
Como
course,
poderia ser?
this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing
Deus,
that
véi.
if he's asleep, he doesn't have to
Tô
take
assustado já.
responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Eu vou ter que sair do jogo,
Now,
porque
hearing the voice
tá em
speak
loop
this
essa
way
droga.
was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Meu Deus.
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the
Gente,
mattress on
o
his
que tá
back,
acontecendo?
the
Meu
fresh
Deus.
air of a world outside this one.
Ele pensou.
Let me wake up, he
Meu
thought to
Deus,
himself.
velho. Que
I'm
porra é
through
essa?
with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my
É
job.
tudo que eu quero.
Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Meu Deus. Não. Não.
Stanley began screaming. Please,
Não.
someone wake me up.
Não.
My name is Stanley. I have a boss, I have an office. I am real.
O que tá acontecendo?
Please, just
Que tá
someone
acontecendo?
tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I?
Meu Deus.
Who am I? And
Meu Deus,
everything
meu Deus.
went black.
Ah, não.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
É a mulher dele.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Nossa. Legal. Nossa, maneiro. Aí tu morre. Ah, não. Não. O jogo reinicia. Então tá, pera aí. Não é à toa que falou que tinha que obedecer o narrador. Então... É assim, galera. Eu acho que nesse vídeo eu não vou falar muito. Porque realmente o narrador que controla. Não sei o que aconteceu ali. Eu fiquei perdido. Eu só tava lendo. E tudo que ele tava falando tava acontecendo. Então realmente é um jogo muito louco. Eu gostei, apesar que, né, tem vários sinais. Uma caneca. Olha lá, o jogo reiniciou, entre aspas. Então galera, põe aí no zoom. Quase você não vai ouvir minha voz, né? Vocês devem estar falando graças a Deus. E esse jogo, eu acho que não vai ter corte. Não vai ter corte esse vídeo, porque é muito rápido o que acontece. Vocês acabam de ver, apesar que eu fiquei acho que 10 minutos naquele loop lendo o que tava acontecendo. É isso aí. Uma vez eu entrei pela esquerda. Não, não vou entrar, não vou entrar, não vou. Só para admitir a ela. Tá bom. Eu entrei na esquerda a última vez, eu obedeci uma vez e depois eu não obedeci, que era pra ter subido, né? Já entrei na errada, já, só pra sacanear.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Não.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ah, seria... Ele quer que eu entre nessa porta esquerda. Não, será que eu... Ah, é que tem... que droga. Não, vai se fuder. Vai se fuder.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Nossa. Eu não vou te obedecer, cara. Você me... Quero que mais... Eu quero descobrir. Warning. You follow to the fucking... E aí?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Ele conversando comigo, olha.
Really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
Não tem essa decisão.
I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Eu peço por ela. E essa ela aí, vai.
This is it, Stanley.
E agora, Sandro, sua chance de se redimir. Tá.
To put your work aside,
tá bom.
To let her back into your life.
Tudo bem, vai.
She's been waiting.
Ela está esperando. Tá, o que tem que fazer? Essa porra. É pra entrar aqui? Não? Entrar aqui? Aqui? Não, então é a única porta. Por favor, não fica bravão, hein, cara. Vamos redimir. Olha, a última vez que... Não sei, velho. Caramba!
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
A legenda sumiu. Meu Deus. Onde que eu tô?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. Oh.
Não consigo mover.
Okay, there we go.
Pra entrar?
Alright, now, I want you to come in and
Não
tell
consigo
me
mover,
all
gente.
about
Que é isso?
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
Não sei o que
They'd
tá
wanna commit
falando,
their life
mas
to you.
entre aspas. Que
I'm trying to make a
isso?
point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me
Vai
show you
entrar?
what's really going on here.
Ele quer que eu entre lá agora. Não, que mané entrar? Falou pra você.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Não. Não. De novo não. Mas eu obedeci. Ai, meu Deus.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man
Não.
named Stanley.
E agora? Bom dia, funcionário. Aperte V do seu teclado.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job
Tá
that demands
acontecendo?
nothing of
Eu
him,
apertei.
and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Meu Deus. Por favor, aperte 2. Não vou apertar 2. Não vou apertar. O que acontece?
Look at him
2.
there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Essa mesa não tava aqui.
Now he's pushing a button.
O que tá acontecendo?
Now he's eating
Voltando ao
lunch.
trabalho?
Now
Como assim?
He's going home. Now he's coming
Não,
back to work.
não.
One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Mano, esse cara tá fugido. Por favor, aperte E. Não vou apertar E. Tá dando tudo coisa errada. Ai, meu Deus. E agora? Se eu apertar o E? Tô apertando.
But in his mind,
Não aconteceu nada.
in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Aperte o quê? Por favor, aperte E e assista para assistir TV. Tudo bem.
And so he
Meu Deus.
fantasize about his own job. First, he
Meu Deus, eu
imagined
tô
that
voltando pro
one day
serviço.
while
Não vou
at
apertar
work,
mais nada.
he stepped up from his desk to
Não,
realize
não,
that
não, não,
all
não.
of his coworkers,
Meu Deus.
his boss,
Que jogo
everyone in the
louco.
building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth.
Não.
The thought excited him terribly.
Por favor, aperte I para passar o tempo com os amigos. Meu Deus.
So he went further. He
tá acontecendo?
imagined that he
Não sei,
came
não
to
sei.
two open doors and that he could go through
Então ele
either.
imaginou.
At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The
Meu
mere
Deus.
thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Por favor, aperte K para preparar o jantar. Não quero nem ver, velho.
As he
Meu
wandered
Deus,
through his
não.
fantasy world,
Não.
he began to fill it with many possible
Não.
paths and
Não.
destinations.
Não.
Down one path lay an enormous round
Narrador do
room
capiroto,
with
velho.
monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions.
Jogou
And down
bebê?
another was a game with a baby. And he
Não.
called it the Stanley Parable.
Aperte H para continuar uma história aos seus para contar. H.
It was such a wonderful fantasy.
Deus, eu não sei o que tá
And so in his
acontecendo.
head,
Eu não sei o que tá
he
acontecendo.
relived it
Quero ir embora.
again, and
Não
then
gostei.
again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might
Meu
always
Deus,
feel
mano.
this free.
Que jogo
Surely there's an answer
estranho.
down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Apesar de perder sua esposa que você ama. Olha isso, cara. O que tá acontecendo? É só um manequim, não tem esposa nenhum.
But there is
Ai, meu Deus!
How could there possibly be?
Pronto, tô voltando pro
In reality,
escritório.
all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has.
Nossa, chega, já
Nothing's
deu.
changed.
Já
The longer
entendi.
he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he
Meu Deus,
forgets which
cara.
life is the real one.
Por favor, aperte 7 para ir dormir. Com certeza não vai acontecer isso, né? Vou morrer.
And I'm trying to tell him this.
Estou
That in
tentando
this
dizer.
world he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains
Cara,
here,
o Stanley
he's
tá
slowly killing
Next.
himself. but he won't listen to me.
Mas ele não
He won't
vai
stop.
escutar.
Here,
Ele
watch
não vai
this.
parar.
Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button,
Olha lá, você não
not
aperte.
do it.
Não vou apertar. Por favor, aperte para ir ao trabalho amanhã. Não vou apertar. Ele mandou não apertar, já que eu tô me fudendo mesmo. Não vou apertar. Mas não acontece nada. Eu vou, sei lá, esperar. E se eu esperar esse relógio aqui? Ai. Aí, eu não tô apertando, mas não tá acontecendo nada. Olha lá. Ah, eu vou ter que apertar, velho. Ah, meu Deus. É o jeito. Pronto, morreu.
You see?
Ah, viu?
Can he just not hear me?
Voltei
How can I
pro
tell him in a
lobby
way
do
that he'll
jogo.
understand that every second he remains here,
Meu
he's
Deus, mano.
electing
Que
to
jogo...
kill
Sai
himself?
fora, velho.
How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Aperte T para não questionar nada.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my
Mano,
intended
cê é
purpose,
louco,
the
velho.
same as Stanley.
Sai fora.
We're not so different, I
Sai, tio.
suppose.
Sai, tio.
I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time.
Como assim?
And I tried again.
Por favor, morra.
Stanley pushed a button. I
Não.
tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I...
Que porra é essa? Mano do céu. Não. 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 O jogo reiniciou, né? É, reiniciou. Quer ver? Ele vai falar a mesma coisa.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room
claro.
to check on his
Tinha.
co-workers. He never functioned well by
Tá bom,
himself
fechou.
and constantly needed support and guidance from others.
Já obedeci
So the thought of
Nossa
total
senhora,
solitude
mano.
was terrifying to him.
Eu sumiu ali a legenda, não sei o que quero ter feito aquela hora. Galera, o vídeo vai ficando por aqui. Talvez eu traga mais desse Stanley, porque eu gostei, realmente. É um jogo que mexe com você. Muito legal, eu curti. Então, se você não é inscrito no canal, seja bem-vindo. Dá uma ajuda aí, quem sabe. E se a
No
manja...
matter how hard Stanley looked, he
Posso
couldn't find
terminar
a
o vídeo?
trace of his co-workers.
Não, cala a boca, deixa eu terminar o vídeo. Quem manda aqui sou eu agora. Então é isso, galera. Oh, tô ligado aqui, né? Não sei que eu mexo. Acho que foi isso que eu tinha feito a última vez. Então, galera, o vídeo vai ficando por aqui. Então, se você ama Jesus e Bacon, se inscreve aí. E tem pedido aqui, tem pedido ali. E vazou. Fui!